On a map of Europe, Monaco is almost easy to miss. It is a sovereign country squeezed onto the French Riviera, bordered by France on 3 sides and the Mediterranean Sea on the 4th. Its entire land area is only about 2.08 square kilometers, smaller than many city parks, yet it operates as an independent state with its own government, borders, identity, and international presence. Monaco is the second smallest sovereign state in the world after Vatican City, but unlike many tiny territories, it is not hidden away or politically forgotten. It is famous for luxury yachts, casinos, Formula One racing, extreme real estate prices, and a population density unlike anywhere else on Earth. The story of Monaco is not simply about wealth. It is about how a tiny piece of coastline turned geography, diplomacy, and exclusivity into national power. Monaco's geography explains much of its unusual character. The Principality sits on the Mediterranean coast, with steep hills rising quickly behind it and France surrounding it to the north, east, and west. The Italian region of Liguria lies only about 15 kilometers away, which helps explain why Italian influence is still visible in local culture and language. Monaco is sometimes described as a semi-enclave because it is almost entirely enclosed by France, except for its coastline. That coastline is also remarkable. At about 3.83 kilometers, it is the shortest national coastline of any non-landlocked country. With so little land, every meter matters. Roads, towers, ports, gardens, and apartment blocks compete for space in a country where expansion is extremely difficult and where even the sea has sometimes been reclaimed for development. The numbers behind Monaco are striking. Around 38,000 people live in just over 2 square kilometers, making it the most densely populated sovereign state in the world. But Monaco's population is not simply a local community packed into a small space. Fewer than 10,000 residents are Monegasque nationals, meaning most people who live there are foreign residents. This gives Monaco a very international character. French is the official language, but Italian and Monegasque are also widely spoken and understood. Monegasque identity is therefore both protected and surrounded by global influence. The Principality has to balance being a real nation with a native population and traditions, while also being a residential and financial magnet for wealthy people from around the world. Politically, Monaco is a monarchy, but not an absolute one in the old medieval sense. It is governed as a semi-constitutional monarchy, with Prince Albert II as head of state. The prince holds substantial political powers, which makes Monaco different from many modern European monarchies where kings or queens are mostly ceremonial. Day-to-day government is led by a minister of state, often described as the prime minister. Interestingly, this head of government can be either Monegasque or French, and the monarch consults with the French government before making the appointment. Monaco also relies on French magistrates for key parts of its judiciary. This relationship shows a central fact about Monaco: it is independent, but its independence has long been closely tied to France. The ruling family of Monaco, the House of Grimaldi, has one of the longest-running dynastic stories in Europe. The Grimaldis have ruled Monaco, with brief interruptions, since 1297. That continuity is central to Monaco's national identity. In a country so small, political legitimacy is not built on vast territory or military strength, but on history, recognition, and diplomacy. Monaco's sovereignty was formally recognized by the Franco-Monegasque Treaty of 1861, a key moment that confirmed the Principality's status while also deepening its connection to France. Later, in 1993, Monaco became a full voting member of the United Nations. That step mattered because it placed Monaco alongside much larger countries as a recognized participant in international affairs. Despite being independent, Monaco does not defend itself like a typical country. Its defense is the responsibility of France, although Monaco maintains 2 small military units of its own. This arrangement is practical. Monaco has neither the territory nor the need for a conventional national military, and its survival has historically depended more on treaties and relationships than force. Its foreign policy is separate, but it operates in a European system where cooperation with France is essential. Monaco is not part of the European Union, yet it participates in certain EU-related policies, especially customs and border controls through its relationship with France. It also uses the euro as its sole currency, even though it is outside the EU. This creates a hybrid status, independent but deeply integrated. Monaco's transformation into a luxury destination began in the late 19th century. A major turning point was the opening of the Monte Carlo casino, followed by a rail connection to Paris. Before that, Monaco did not possess the obvious resources that usually drive national wealth. It had little land, no large agricultural base, and no major industrial hinterland. But it had scenery, a mild climate, and a location close enough to attract Europe's elite. The casino helped create an image of glamour and risk, while the railway made the Principality accessible to wealthy visitors. Monte Carlo became more than a district, it became a global symbol of high-stakes leisure, elegant hotels, and Riviera luxury. Tourism helped establish Monaco's reputation, but modern Monaco is much more than a resort. It has become a major banking center and has worked to diversify into services in small, high-value-added industries that do not require large amounts of land or heavy pollution. That strategy makes sense for a microstate. Monaco cannot compete by building massive factories or sprawling industrial zones, so it focuses on sectors where value can be concentrated in offices, expertise, and reputation. Finance, luxury services, events, real estate, and specialized businesses fit this model. The result is an economy built around scarcity. Because Monaco is small, stable, prestigious, and attractive to the wealthy, its limited space becomes part of its economic engine. One of the most famous reasons wealthy people move to Monaco is taxation. Monaco has no personal income tax for most residents, with an exception affecting French citizens, and it also has low business taxes. This has made it one of the world's best-known tax havens. More than 30% of residents are millionaires, and real estate prices have reached extraordinary levels, reportedly around 100,000 euros per square meter in 2018. These prices are not just about luxury apartments. They reflect the economic value of legal residence in Monaco, the shortage of land, and the global demand for a safe, prestigious, low-tax address. In Monaco, property is not merely shelter, it is status, access, and financial strategy. Monaco's financial model also brings scrutiny. A place that attracts large amounts of global wealth must prove that its financial system is not being abused. Monaco has been identified as a global hub associated with money laundering risks, and in June 2024 the Financial Action Task Force placed it under increased monitoring to strengthen efforts against money laundering and terrorist financing. This does not erase Monaco's sovereignty or success, but it highlights a challenge faced by many financial centers. Openness to wealth must be balanced with transparency and enforcement. For a country whose reputation is one of its most valuable assets, international trust is critical. Monaco's future depends not only on attracting capital, but on showing that capital is properly regulated. Monaco also projects itself through international organizations and cultural diplomacy. It is a member of the Council of Europe and joined in 2004, placing it within a wider European framework of legal and political cooperation. It is also part of the Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie, reflecting the importance of the French language and cultural ties. These memberships help Monaco act like a normal state despite its tiny scale. They give it platforms for diplomacy, law, culture, and cooperation. For microstates, international organizations are especially important because they provide visibility and legitimacy. Monaco may be geographically small, but in global institutions, it has a flag, a voice, and recognized sovereignty. Sport is another major part of Monaco's global identity. The Monaco Grand Prix is one of Formula One's most famous races and one of the original Grands Prix. Its narrow street circuit turns the Principality itself into the racetrack, with cars racing past harbor views, tight corners, and luxury buildings. The event reinforces Monaco's image: fast, glamorous, expensive, and technically demanding. The local Motorsports Association also gives its name to the Monte Carlo Rally, held in January in the French Alps. Beyond racing, AS Monaco competes in France's Ligue 1 and has won the French championship multiple times, while Monaco's basketball team plays in the EuroLeague. Sport allows Monaco to appear much larger on the world stage than its physical size suggests. There is another side to Monaco that is sometimes overshadowed by yachts and casinos: marine science and conservation. The Principality is home to one of the world's first protected marine habitats, as well as the Oceanographic Museum, a major symbol of its connection to the sea. It also hosts the International Atomic Energy Agency Marine Environment Laboratories, the only marine laboratory in the United Nations system. This focus is logical for a country whose identity is tied to the Mediterranean. Monaco's coastline may be short, but its relationship with the ocean is deep. Through conservation and research, the Principality presents itself not only as a playground for wealth, but as a center for understanding and protecting marine environments. Monaco is a country of contradictions that somehow function together. It is tiny but globally famous, independent but closely linked to France, old in dynasty but modern in finance, glamorous in image but complex in governance. Its survival has depended on using what it has with extreme precision: location, sovereignty, stability, prestige, and scarcity. Monaco cannot be understood only as a luxury destination or tax haven, because it is also a historical principality, a diplomatic actor, a sports stage, and a marine research center. Its size forces every choice to matter. And that is what makes Monaco so unusual. In one of the smallest countries on Earth, wealth, politics, identity, and geography are compressed into just a few square kilometers. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.